one chat at a time.
Hi guys, and welcome to episode 9 of Keeping the Arts Alive one chat at a time.
Today we are talking with the wonderful clarinetist ADRIAN COX.
So please comment, like and share with your friends and family, and hope you enjoy.
Hi ADRIAN, nice to have you today.
Hello, how are you both doing?
We're good, thanks.
Very well.
Good, very good. How are you?
Excellent. I'm very well, thank you. I've just got back from Bulgaria,
Oh,
so
lovely.
I'm quarantining.
Oh,
Fun.
okay. How was the weather?
The weather was amazing. It was 19 degrees most days, but felt like 24.
Oh, lovely.
But I'm not boasting at all.
Let's get straight to it. Let's go back to the beginning. So you started playing the clarinet at the age of 6, and then you left home at 15 to become a professional musician. How did you find this at such a young age?
Right, so I was 6 years old, and my dad got me into playing the clarinet. He plays the banjo for his sins, but he had said, he'd always liked the sound of a clarinet and banjo, so he bought me a clarinet.
Yeah.
And I took it up and I was playing and I practiced. I got really into it and I'd practice, sort of 3 or 4 hours every day. Then I sort of stopped for a bit. I took up skateboarding and stuff, and I needed some money, and I thought, right, what shall I do? And Mum said, why don't you sell your clarinet? So I got the clarinet out.
Oh,
And Dad said, let's play a tune. And we played a tune together. And I thought, oh no, I'll keep it. And then I started having lessons in the school with a great teacher called Jack Gilbert. He'd been a pro musician all his life. And but the trouble was the people at the school who were also in the lesson, there were 4 of us, they wouldn't go and practice or anything. So I'd wake up in the morning. I used to practice 2 hours before school, practice 2 or 3 hours after. And also my dad had a band. So from the age of 12, I was playing in his band. We were doing,
Wow,
nice.
I was doing sort of 2 or 3 gigs a week.
Whoa.
From like the age of 13, we had a residency and also doing rehearsals. So the band would rehearse on a Monday and another band would rehearse on a Thursday. We'd do a gig on a Wednesday and a Sunday, so it was great. I was like 13, 14, earning 150 quid a week.
That's
Brilliant.
mental.
Great.
And then of course, when I was 15, I got a phone call I'd gone and played at Butlins. Butlins used to do a jazz weekend, and I'd gone there with my dad and some friends. And I sat in with this band in a jam session, and this trombone player came up to me after we'd played, and he said, right, come here, come to the bar. He said, what do you want to drink? This guy called Martin Bennett. And I said, I have a bitter of any kind. So we had a pint. He said, right, I've got 2 lads. They both play in a band. They live in Devon. And obviously I brought up in Brighton, near Burgess Hill, near Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I've got 2 guys, my 2 sons, they've got a band. They'd be very interested in you. So he took my telephone number and he wrote a postcard and he sent it to his son. And it said on the postcard, my mate still got it, Richard Bennett. It says, met a lad, got no brain, but by chance plays the clarinet. So I got a phone call from him saying, what are you doing at the moment? I said, GCSE exams. He says, all right. He says, do you want to come on tour with us? I said, yeah, all right. And so instead of doing my exams, I went on tour for a week in the southeast of England. And then they offered me the job. They said, if you want to join the band, you've got to join this Saturday, but it means you've got to move to Devon. So it's moving sort of 300 miles away. And luckily my parents said, well, if we don't let you go, you're going to hold it against us. But remember, you've always got a home here. And obviously I've used that on many occasions.
Yeah. Oh, that's it though. It's so nice to have that support, I suppose, and then let you spread your wings. Because it must be scary as a parent to be like, okay,
see ya.
Go.
Yeah. And I think they got a lot of stick, from their friends saying you shouldn't be letting your kid leave home at 15. And they're like, well, if he's, it's all he's ever wanted to do. Yeah. It's all I've ever wanted to do is play music and get on tour, get a tour bus. Granted, it wasn't quite the tour bus that I imagined at the start. Luckily, I get to do that occasionally now.
Oh, that's so good. Then quite a few years ago, built up a relationship with Bad Manners. So how did this come about? Because it's very different, I suppose, to...
Yeah, it is very different. So it's weird. So when I started with Richard Bennett's band when I was 15, I did 5 years with his band, and then I moved to London and I joined TJ Johnson's band. And I'd always said, well, I'll do another 5 years with this band and then I'll review everything in 5-year stages.
Okay.
And it was really weird. At the end of 5 years, I got a phone call from a friend of mine, a guy called Tony Rico, who's an amazing saxophone player. And he phoned me up and he said, what are you doing in a couple of weeks' time? He said, do you want to do a tour with Bad Manners? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. So he said to me, you know, Bad Manners are a massive party animal band, you know, as much as you can drink and whatever else you want to take, you know, and you have to be a certain breed to be in that band. And they say to the man, you got to be to the manners born. Anyway, so my mate phoned me up and he said, we thought about it and you fit the bill, you know, you're ideal for it. And he said, also, I want to share the work, because he said, I'm probably going to drink myself to death pretty soon if I don't. So I went on tour with them in, when was it, 2009 was the first tour. I did a tour of Russia with them.
Oh, wow.
That was my first tour. We did that and it was great. It was brilliant. I had a great time. Drank about 5 litres of vodka in 4 days, you know, and as much else as I could possibly do.
And you've gone on to now manage them, haven't you, as well?
Well, I took over managing them a year after I joined them. So I've managed them now I've managed them for 11 years. So I set up all the tours around the world, you know, South America, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, European touring, Russia, where, you know, the whole lot.
Behind the scenes work as well as playing.
I never really thought about it. I just sort of fell into it. Buster, the lead singer, said, hey, he said, you seem to have your life sorted with you always working. Like I'd do a tour with Bad Manners, then I do a tour with whoever I was working with. And he said, have you ever thought about he said, do you want to manage the band? I'll pay you this percentage. I'll do this. Yeah. And I weighed it up, and I've always liked money. So I went, yeah, right. But actually, you know, my life's a bit more sorted out in the brain these days, you know. So it becomes a lot easier if you're not up partying until 5 a.m.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. So we're going to move on to inspirations of yours, and we're going to chat a little bit about Edmund Hall. So
who's he?
Who's he when he's at home?
Never heard of him.
So you created Profoundly Blue. So what gave you the idea behind the show?
Okay, so we were coming back from a gig at Ronnie Scott's. We were doing the Late Show with Kansas Smitties, and I think Giacomo put something on in the Uber. The Uber driver must have loved it. But anyway, Joe Webb shouted out, he goes, that clarinet player sounds like you. And I was like, well, no, I sound like him. But he was like, who's that? I'm like, it's Edmund Hall. I said, he's my favourite clarinetist. And then when I got home, I was thinking, it was when Kansas Smitties were doing basement tapes. And I thought, he said, put something together for it. And I thought, maybe I'll do a show on Edmund Hall, an evening on Edmund Hall.
Yeah.
And then I started putting it together, and then I started finding all these new tunes, or not new tunes, but tunes of Edmund Hall's that I'd never, ever discovered or listened to. I was like, this is brilliant. And I'm like, wow. And then I realized how much I absolutely adore his playing, and found all these new original compositions. And I thought, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a show. And what can I call it? Profoundly Blue. That's his most seminal recording. Mm-hmm. So I put the band together. I said, we're going to do basement tapes. And I said, sod it. I said, I'll try and get another gig in the book. And so the first gig we had in the book was after Smitty's was Ronnie Scott's. So it was like, right, okay. So this is good. Let's do that. And then I set up tours for it. And we toured it for 2.5 years. And when I say tour it, I don't mean like, we went on tour all the time, but I mean, we did a 3-month tour.
Yeah.
That was pretty, it was 25 shows each month at the beginning of the year. And then festivals all across Europe, Scandinavia. And it was great.
And even radio shows in this country here as well. So what was your most memorable experience of all of that?
Most memorable experience. So the nice thing was Cerys Matthews from BBC Six. I met her at Cheltenham Jazz Festival, and I just hung out with her for the afternoon. She was looking at me because I had a walking stick because I'd broken my ankle at the time.
Oh, no.
I've got dodgy bones from when I used to have drink issues. And I was telling her this story, and I was saying, I said, I've had a hip replacement. She's like, oh my God. And I said, I haven't drunk for, I think it was like 5 years at the time. And she's like, wow. She's like, I want to get you on the show. She said, have you got any projects coming up or anything? She's like, and then I can like steer it to you, like changing your life around. I was like, oh yeah. I said, well, I've got this thing called Profoundly Blue, which she's like, what's that about? And I told her all about it. And then she put us on a show in, it was June 2017. And so we went and we did a live session for her, which was great fun. So we did that. And so she's always pushed it, and Claire Till pushed it. I took the show out to New York as well. We played at Jazz at Lincoln Center at Dizzy's Club.
Wow.
That was in July 2019. So originally I'd been booked to go out. They said, they wanted to book me for the club. And they said, but, use the Jazz at Lincoln Center rhythm section. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I just thought, hang on a minute, we've we've done all of these tours with, you know, with Gethin Jones, Simon Reed, and of course Joe Webb on piano.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't want to go and do Dizzy's without them. And so I said to him, I said, look, can I bring my band out? And they said, yeah. They said, we can't pay for them, obviously. It's like, so I just went, right, as a treat, I paid for them to come out, paid for
amazing.
2 nights in New York, and I said, let's just go and do it and have it. You know?
So that's so amazing.
Great.
Love that.
Fabulous.
Last year, let's move on to 2020.
Good year.
Now it's spring came out. So we want to know a bit about your inspiration behind that and how that.
Okay. So when we were doing a Profoundly Blue tour in January, February, March 2019, I thought, whilst the band's working and we're doing loads of gigs, I said, I've got a couple of original tunes. Let's go straight into the recording studio and we'll just record these few tunes that I've got. I basically booked 4 days in the studio in August 2019. I said, right, we're going to go in. The album wasn't written, and I wanted to do an original album. We went in there with nothing and then came out with an album.
Wow.
And how it worked was I'd go into the studio. I was like, right, sit there for about an hour and a half working stuff out, and then get Joe Webb and his brain in, you know, Joe, come and sort this shit out, you know. So then Joe would come in and we'd go through it. And then suddenly we'd just have written a tune, and then I'd get the, you know, Geth and Simon in, and then we'd record it. And so that's how we did it for over the 4 days. And it was mad because the weekend before we'd driven out to Denmark, played on this tiny little island called Famu in Denmark, and then driven all the way back through the night. Luckily we got a decent driver, you know, but he drove us all the way back. And then the next day we went straight in the studio for 4 days. It was the first all original album, and I wanted to record. I wanted to do it on a vinyl as well. I'd never done vinyl. We had tours all booked for, you know, lots of stuff in Europe in 2020, but of course that didn't happen.
Dun, dun, dun.
What I really enjoyed reading was, whilst you were writing and recording Now Is Spring, in an hour's break, you actually wrote another LP, The Hour Off. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
So The Hour Off, so we didn't write that one. The Hour Off is, I said, because everyone was going mad, you know, and whereas I'm someone who can sit in a studio all day, I don't have to see light. I don't care. It just doesn't, no, it doesn't, I'm pretty resilient to it all, really. And so I just said, right, should we just have an hour off? And like, yeah, what do you want to do? And it was like, can we just play some tunes? Like, yeah. So we went, right, let's have an hour off. And we literally played a set of tunes. And the engineer, our friend Loz, he was like, yeah, I've just recorded all of that. So we were like, brilliant. So when the pandemic started, I was like, right, what have we got? My mate messaged me and said, you know that you've got that hour that you did when you recorded Now It's Spring. So I was like, brilliant. So we put that together and we released it and put it out on Bandcamp, as everyone was doing. And of course, it was a bit of an income that happened for, you know, so that was good.
That was very, very spontaneous. Something maybe that was initially a spontaneous idea, I don't know, you'll tell us in a moment, I'm sure, but is Sunday service, talking of lockdown. So it's just had its 1 year anniversary, congratulations. So where did that come from? Yeah, your baby.
Well, I saw that, so when the lockdown happened, so I just cancelled all of my gigs. I just didn't, and I just did that straight away because I thought there's no point going, oh, but at least I've got that thing in June. At least I've got that. If you've got nothing, then you know that you've got to earn money and you've got to, you know. I was watching people doing live streams and people said, Adrian, when are you going to do something? And I was just going, no one wants to hear an hour of solo clarinet. Like, who wants to hear that? And then so it came to it and I thought, all right, after people have asked me to do it, I'm going to do it. And I did the first one and there was about 240 people tuned in to watch it. I think I did 3 where I hadn't really thought about it. I just put some tunes together. And then I thought, well, this is a really good opportunity. Like, let's make it a thing. So I was like, right, I'm going to take Barney Bigard. I'm going to do all of his music. Well, as my favourite things that can fit into an hour, you know.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and it's carried on since then. I did a few when it opened up a bit with Joe Webb. We did a load together. I did one where Andrea, my girlfriend, she was on it with me playing double bass. And then Kourosh Kanani on guitar, my friend Simon Picton, Will Barry did one, and then I did a couple of bigger ones from Gun Hill Studios, which is my friend's got amazing studios, and then of course the last 7 weeks have all been from Bulgaria, which is, so the wonderful thing is it doesn't matter where I am in the world, I've been able to be able to. And I did it. I've been lucky in the pandemic. In last year in 2020, I did a tour in Switzerland. I did 2 trips to Denmark. I did 2 trips to Sweden.
Wow.
And the work was, and everywhere I went, everything sort of shut down after I left. But
Yeah.
maybe I'm the super spreader.
Yeah.
So cool though. I mean, I suppose to have that focus and to keep going forward rather than just being stagnant. Such a
Well, because I fell through I don't get anything from the government, you see. So it then becomes that you have to make money. And I feel really bad. So I feel really bad saying this, right? But I've had the best year of my career so far.
Yeah.
I've been able to survive on jazz, which is,
nice.
which it brings and it's doing what I want to do, So it's great. I've had a good year with it, really.
Really good.
Bad saying that, but I don't know.
No,
You've got to be positive. There's no point
what's
going
the point?
Exactly. So you've played across the world. Who would you say has been your most memorable person that you've met along the way?
Probably with Wynton Marsalis. That was pretty good. I had a really nice chat with him after, because we did the concert at the Barbican in London, and then we flew out and did at Jazz at Lincoln Center. That was a good concert. It was like Tony Bennett and all that were there. It was an amazing thing. But it was nice after the gig. I had sort of like 35 minutes, 40 minutes, and that's when he was saying, look, we don't get to see what's going on because we're working so hard. We're rehearsing when we're on tour. We rehearse. We do this, and he said, so you need to tell us what's happening. And he said really nice things about McLaren. The nice thing was, he said, man, he came over and he just like hit me as we walked off the rehearsal. He like hit me in the side. It's like, man, your sound is massive, and it was great. He's like, I can hear it all. George Lewis, Edmund Hall, and he just reeled off my favourite players. And he's like, but the main thing is, it sounds like you. It was nice of him. Lovely.
Right, we could be here for hours.
I know.
But we've got a little question we're asking every guest before they go, which is, if you were on a desert island, a bit of a classic, and you had one album, one film, and one dish, what would they be?
Chicken Jalfrezi, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, Rumpus on Rampart Street by Edmund Hall.
That is the quickest
answer we've had.
Yeah, there you go.
Love that.
The Chicken Jalfrezi would have to be from Tamarind, which is my favourite Indian restaurant in Mayfair in London.
I've never been.
If you ever get the chance, it was the first Michelin-starred Indian restaurant in London.
Oh,
right.
Really?
UK.
We'll save it for that one.
We'll save that.
Mind you, they do a good lunch thing if you get a
Do
chance.
they? Oh, that might be more.
Yeah,
Well,
there you go.
Just before we go, where can people find you if they want to see your upcoming projects?
Okay, so Instagram, I'm always all over that. Adrian Cox Music. Twitter is Adrian Cox Music. Facebook.com/Adrian Cox Music. I've got a website. Is www.adriancoxmusic.net, which is just having a revamp at the moment, and then on Spotify, Adrian Cox Music, probably, I'd imagine. But and there's something. I've got a new album that we're recording soon with strings.
Oh,
so all original stuff. It's all been arranged by Philip Maniez out in Paris. He's an amazing arranger. So looking forward to that. But and then Sunday service stuff.
Yeah,
going to carry on. And I'm recording Profoundly Blue as a film. We're doing a 70-minute sort of black and white film.
That's amazing.
Well, we might have to get you back on because you've got so much more to talk
about. Yeah, do it.
So thanks so much.
I could talk forever. Don't worry.
Hey, you've been great.
Good luck with everything, girls.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on. Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, you're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.